Hi, welcome to Zaragoza Cardenales podcast. My name is Paula Zaragoza Cardenales, and this first episode are going to be tips for lawyers who want to be entrepreneurs. And if you're not a lawyer, you're welcome to follow these tips because they're quite general and you can use them and apply it to your niche, to your profession. So, first off, if you like the podcast, hit follow. If you haven't followed me in other social medias, you can search for Zaragoza Cardenales on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and you can find me there. I'm an intellectual property attorney. I have my own business, and I'm also a coordinator and professor at the University of Puerto Rico. I'm from Puerto Rico. And you can also hear the previous episodes of I was bored during the pandemic and I had nothing to do other than film myself and imagine traveling to other places using Google Maps. So if you're interested in those, you can find them in this podcast. And we're going to basically talk about entrepreneurship, intellectual property, cooking, travel, anything that catches my eye because this is my podcast. So, getting to the topic, first, making sure that meaning entrepreneurship, it's what you want. Don't do it because everyone else is doing it, meaning peer pressure, or because it's a popular topic. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing, and that's okay. And I contemplated becoming an entrepreneur when I was in Indiana, but I was in denial, and denial is a river in Egypt. And it wasn't until I was in Switzerland that I was like, oh, right, yeah, I told this is solely for me because I'm really not good at taking instructions, and I criticize people for not doing things that are completely common sense, and I'm learning more from other people's mistakes and what not to do than having good examples. So if you're going through that same thing, then this is for you. Other things that might influence is if your parents are entrepreneurs. In my case, they are. And both my mom and dad are entrepreneurs by accident. And that's a fun story for another day. But basically, they both lost their jobs and found themselves in the conundrum of what to do now. And they just started their own business, not together, but like completely separate things. My mom, what doesn't she do? She does absolutely everything. And my dad is a tax expert, but they're both accountants. And if that isn't the case, I always advise people to go to entrepreneurship events, to go to entrepreneurship courses, both in person or online, read up on the subject. Entrepreneurship is either, people always say it's either born or made. You can do a mix of both and do things along the way and always learn. I was, kind of born into the entrepreneurship thing, but I'm learning as I go. I'm making mistakes and changing things as I go and being like, oh wow, okay, this is a lot to process. Another thing that is important to like have things um and that mindset of, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna do this," is to have a vision and plan. When you make that decision, it's always good to make that decision in writing. So meaning a business plan. A business plan consists of your mission, vision, smart objectives, meaning small, measurable, attainable, um, time constraint, and achievable objectives and goals, having a marketing plan and a financial plan. Having that in writing is not only beneficial to you, but everyone else who's going to be involved. If you're going to hire employees, get partners, get investment, take out loans, um, have a building, etc. You're gonna need a business plan. And another great tip is to have a financial cushion. Don't go in if you're if you don't have savings, because it's gonna be harder if you're gonna do this with a loan. I thankfully have savings, and I can have those as a just in case. But if that's not the situation, there's always grants and government help that can get you going for that first year. And there's also a lot of exemptions for early businesses, like less than 5 years, that you can apply to. So you don't necessarily have to immediately take out a loan. I know that is like the traditional way of doing things. You take out a loan, but there's other ways. So leave the taking out the loan as a in case of fire, break glass. Is what I'm going here. Get ready to put the work is the other advice. You're gonna be the attorney, the accountant, the paralegal, the marketer, the secretary, the janitor, and the CEO all at the same time. Long hours of work. So say goodbye to your 9 to 5. You're gonna establish your own itinerary. A client management software. It's a godsend. Basically, it's gonna save your life, and because it's going to help you with organizing, time management, template document making, reminding you of stuff. Following on clients that haven't paid you, that sort of thing. Yeah, you're gonna need it. An important thing is to have a network. And if you don't have a network, I suggest you join an association, meaning the Association of Women Entrepreneurs, of Latino entrepreneurs, of products made in your country. For instance, here there's an association of products made in Puerto Rico. You can join as a member. Um, there's the Association of Certified Public Accountants or of Attorneys. Those associations offer events, and they offer various services like mentorship, um, building your contacts, and having referrals. And that is basically very important. And if you don't know any of these associations, let's just say you're new here and don't know anything about the place, you can always go to events. I always suggest going to events at least once a month to just to see what who's out there. Usually, the usual suspects are at those events. Your incubators, your accelerators, and other associations are gonna be there. So search for entrepreneur events with your Google search. I always use Eventbrite, not sponsored, but they're a lifesaver. And oh, another tip is that when going into entrepreneurship, do a market search in the sense of what type of niche in my profession is open for the taking. In the case of intellectual property, here in Puerto Rico, it's quite open for the taking. There isn't much people in the middle ground, meaning that there's your pro bono free services, there's your high end law firm, and there's very few people in the in between. So that's the market that I'm hitting, and that market is open to small and medium businesses, which is the majority of the businesses here in Puerto Rico. If compared to other types of attorney industries like labor law, which you might find, I don't know, you might find saturated. Let's say, for example, you will say like, oh, well, let me see, or what are other people doing that I can do. and you have to search in that area of expertise that you have in criminal and labor law and see the market and if that's something that you like and combine them both. I'm lucky to have the opportunity to combine them both. Not so many people are lucky where you have someone with expertise doing something that they don't like. And with entrepreneurship, there's a lot of planning to reevaluate stuff and planning to take breaks. Planning to reevaluate stuff means that if you can't do, if you can't offer business plans, don't offer them. In my case, I offered business plans, and it was quite hard doing that business plan in particular, to the point where I said, like, okay, I might do this if it's someone that I trust, that I know. I might do them like a favor or something, but it's not something on the regular. That's what I mean with that type of service. And with the thing with vacations, remember when I mentioned that you're going to do absolutely everything? Take breaks. Don't be so hard of yourself. If you're sick, if you're really burnt out, take a break, man. Take a break. And the world's not going to end with a free day. You know, life goes on. Tomorrow's another day. And with with the to search for a mentor. Mentors are important for like a feedbacks and constructive criticism. Also, on the other hand, take them with a grain of salt, because when you're entering a niche that's very new in particular, people are gonna be like, what? I don't get it. For instance, in my case, where I have a strange set of skills, I am an intellectual property attorney, but I do social media. This combination is fairly new, and older generations of attorneys are not used to this because it was prohibitive. You could only get clients through referrals. So TikToking and Reels, YouTube, a podcast, a scandal, you know? So this you're gonna get the a plethora of advice ranging from "are you crazy" to "oh my god, yes, I'm on board." There's no in between. But it's important to have mentors. I'm lucky to have two parents that are entrepreneurs, and they mentor me. But if that's not the case, the payment of that membership is going to be well worth it if you get that mentor. um and also with the business plan, define your services. There going to be a set of services that you're going to offer all the time, others not so much. In my case, it's and I'm self promoting here because I can. It's a trademark and copyright registration with consultation, and the consultation can also imply trade secrets, because I have a client that has those. With patents, I can't register them, but I can point you in the right direction. And basically, that's the intellectual property side. I do a complete service where I search everywhere, meaning all the registers, social media. I give you advice with what to do with your intellectual property. It's more than just a registration, it's just that I'm on the lookout for other people who might copy you. And on the business side of things, I will register your corporation. I can give you the EIN, the IRS company number, and do that same thing for the Hacienda, for the local IRS in Puerto Rico. And I also do nonprofit consulting, because in the life before intellectual property, I dealt with a lot of nonprofits. and business consulting. So that's the general gist of it. Um, yeah, on the and I hope you liked those tips. What was the one that you most liked, the more eye catching? Leave that in the comments. Which advice did I miss that you want to add? Is there any sort of questions or details that you want to know more about this advice? On the next episode, I'm gonna talk about intellectual property and agriculture. Basically, I'm gonna talk about my dissertation because I can. So I hope you liked this episode. Please hit like, follow me on all social medias. You can find me with my two last names because that's a registered trademark. Zaragoza Cardenales. Find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and also now here on Spotify. And I'll catch you on the next time. Bye.